edges laid, braids in. Okay. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Yes, sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Instagram. I don't know if it's Mercury in retrograde. I don't know what's going on, but
That's
we
fine.
here. We made it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So this is literally my first time talking to you. I have never gone live with someone that I've never at least like had a phone call with or something before. But I'm a fan. I'm genuinely a fan of your content.
Thank you.
I love the way that you love music. I love your passion for music, and it just comes through with everything that you create, whether it's a long form YouTube video, whether you got 2 or 3 minutes for us on the gram or even 90 seconds here on IG.
Yeah, the 90-second limit is kind of annoying on
It
on here,
is,
but
right?
like I try to work with it. But yeah, I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Are so welcome. So I want to know more about you. I really want to know, like, what is your background? Like, do you just like music? Do you work in music? Like,
okay.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting. I get asked that a lot. So I would say I'm a person that's always really liked music, but I never studied music like in university or anything. I was classically trained in piano as a kid, so maybe that gave me a little bit of like, a platform to work with.
Yeah.
Um, but I studied computer science actually in the university. That's what I
Okay.
studied. Worked in tech for a little while, but like I would always come online and see people talk about music, and I'd always be like, I feel like I could offer something. I feel like I could do something like this. So
Yeah.
I had some people encourage me and be like, I think you're good at like speaking. Maybe just try out, a page. And I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And then it caught on really quickly.
Yeah.
Kind of shocked me. The reception was great. And I think within like 4 months of having my page, it had scaled to 50K followers. I was on TikTok. So it was very quick growth, and then that I taught, like, to me that was like a sign.
Yeah.
Just like
Absolutely.
so I've been going since then. It's been a little over 2 years, and I've really enjoyed the journey. Within this 2 years, I've made a lot of connections and friends within the music industry. I started doing this full time just a few months ago, and yeah, it's been a process.
Congratulations! Oh my gosh. I'm all about, individual profitability in the music industry. So I'm so happy for you to be able to like do this full time just based off of your passion and your love for music. Like we just love hearing you talk. We love hearing you talk about music. That's really it.
Thank you.
No, I love that. Cause I definitely was wondering, I was like, how does she have this expertise? Like I stumbled across what really did it for me was, well, multiple things did it, but one of your live streams, you were talking about like Beyonce's singing and how it was matching the bass line and how the bass line was the heartbeat of the song. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, like that's more than an ear. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to notice those things.
Honestly, I grew up around music. My dad he's like a huge music person. I feel like that's where I kind of got maybe the interest from. But I grew up hearing a lot of music, and I think it just subconsciously like registered. And even as a teenager, music was my escape. When school was tough, when like as a teenager, life's like it's hard. And music is just always my escape. Like even if I had a terrible day, I would just like have music always, even if I didn't have like because it wasn't as accessible as music is right now. Like
we had to burn our own CDs.
It wasn't, but I would sing to myself. Like I would sing to myself just to have that music element there. Like I would write the lyrics. I would write the lyrics in my book so that I could just have that music element continuously. So I think it's just been a passion that turned into something I could make a career, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have you. I'm grateful to have you in the music community. So I don't know if you know anything about me, but my background is in corporate music artist management.
Okay.
So yeah, so I used to work in television production, and I was
Oh,
working on this Snoop Dogg game show. And like one of the executive producers was like, "You're so organized. Like, I like the way that you run this show. My business partner could use someone like
wow.
you." Um, and her business partner was Wiz Khalifa's manager, Will Zombek. Right. So like for
Wow.
me, I was like, when you work in TV, you're freelance. Every time a show ends, you're out of a job. So I was like, let me
Let me try
try this shit
this.
out.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, I just go back to being freelance. Like I'm not scared,
Yeah.
of being, and I think that's also helped me be an entrepreneur is
Mm.
because I was never the girl who just needed job security to do it. I'm like, I'm good and
Uh,
I'm good at what I do
that's
and I'll
rare,
find.
actually. That's
Yeah,
super rare.
yeah, no, honestly, like because we're raised to be like, get a stable job. And that's what I was like, I
Mhm.
just want someone to notice how smart I am so that I can help them build their company and they just pay me six figures a year. Like, because that's easy. It wasn't. It wasn't. I lied to myself. It was a lie. It was a
It's just never easy. Like I did the 9 to 5 thing for like a couple years, but it was so tough, especially like balancing that with content creation.
Oh,
One thing about like content creation is that they are really tight deadlines. Like if you have to deliver and like it just wasn't possible to a
yeah.
point anymore, and I had to make a decision. I told my parents, I'm like, I'm gonna have to quit. And it was a good job. Like
Yeah.
I had a good job. And like they were like, are you sure? Are you sure what you're doing? And I'm like, I will never forgive myself if I don't fully like chase this dream and like,
Yeah.
chase it to the best. If it doesn't work out, at least I will know that I gave my best.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm just gonna do my best and see where it takes me. So
Period. I'm not gonna be
yeah.
young and fine forever.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a leap of faith. And I was like, I'm still young. If this flops, I'll go back to the workforce.
You know,
Like, so,
it's always there.
yeah.
The jobs are gonna be there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah.
Yep. But your time and your creative inspiration, it's not always going to be. So yeah, thank you. That was oh my gosh. Let's be friends. Where are you? Are you like in New York? Are you
No,
in London?
I'm in
You're in
Toronto right now. Yeah,
Toronto.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I travel a lot just because of like the whole music
yeah.
thing. But as we speak right now, I'm in Toronto. I have an event with Sony Music tonight. They have a
Oh
Cowboy Carter
my gosh.
release party, so I'm excited to be here.
How
Yeah.
amazing. And did you get invited because of your video breaking down Cowboy Carter?
Yeah, they just sent me an email like, "Oh,
Oh
we'd
my
like you to come by."
gosh.
So, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I love the
Girl.
album, and it's gonna be my first time going for like a release party. So, kind of,
Yes. Are you going to record content?
definitely, definitely, I'm going to vlog along the way.
Yes. We get to go with you. How fun. I love this for you. You said, yeah,
Yeah.
I quit my job like 4 months ago, already getting invited to Sony parties. No big deal. No, I absolutely love that. But so
Hmm.
your the art of like music content creation. I would love to know kind of like I want to know the intricacies of how you do it. Like what is your schedule? And then I want to know like the kind of content that you like to receive from music
Hmm.
artists because I think that is like
Yeah, that's a big part.
yeah,
What I would say is my creative process. One thing I promised myself, I would say, is that I never want to put out or tweet about or give props to any artist that I'm not genuinely like interested in, and I've
right.
tried to abide by that rule. So I have two types of content I create: more shorter form and then the longer form. Um, it could mean me sitting, and a huge part of it is me listening to the music, like over and over and over again, especially if I want to do like an explanatory piece.
Right.
I kind of listen to it over and over again. I go online, I look at like, I read articles, I go to the artist page to see if they've said anything particularly about the project or the song. I go on Twitter to see what people are talking about, because sometimes you might think like, for example, surrounding like this Cowboy Carter, like just to see the audience reactions and what they think
Right.
is very interesting as well. So yeah, I do a lot of research, and then I write a script. There's no video, even though it's a 30-second video, I always write a script. I don't know, maybe that's the perfectionist in me.
That's the computer
Yeah,
programmer in you. Is like,
I
I need to
always
know what I'm gonna say.
write a script. I just feel like when your thoughts are written down, like you give yourself a better chance to express yourself better. So I just make sure I write everything down. And then the filming process, which is is the worst part for me.
Really? You're so
Yeah,
good at it. I could
it's
never
yeah,
tell.
it's really it's the hardest part, because you just have to get in front of the camera, and no matter how you're feeling, and just perform, and then the editing process. And most of the time, I'm a one-woman team, so I do
Yeah.
everything myself.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah,
So you
so
create all of your own graphics and
I
stuff?
do everything. Except
So
I would
good.
say, except like the very long ones on
Yeah.
YouTube. Then I have a very talented editor that helped, like we work together. But like anything you see on my TikTok, on my Instagram, I did all the visuals. So yeah,
Wow.
sometimes it's a hard process, but I actually enjoy the editing process. It's just the filming that sometimes it could just, like, you could be having a bad hair day, or like it's just,
Right.
yeah,
No,
it's
for
just
real.
it's tough sometimes to film. I'll say that.
Yeah. Do you batch record? Do you like do
I
a bunch
batch
of videos
record.
at one
Yeah,
time?
I
Yeah.
have to do at least 4, 5 videos at once. It just helps save time.
Period. Yeah. Yeah.
It just helps save
Save that
time.
in the
Yeah.
draft and come back to it later. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
that's me for real. Okay, love that. Love knowing your process because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it can be so overwhelming. And so,
Mm-hmm.
people are just kind of like, well, how does somebody else do it? I know I am because I need to get better. I have been on a lull like on my page and it
Mm-hmm.
shows. Like I haven't been taking the time to make good
To
content.
make
So
it,
all
yeah.
yeah, so everything is like in the 200 view jail, which it's like I can't be mad at that because it's not my best content. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like I
I
can't
always
be
just
mad
tell
at that.
people, like, just take time. Not saying you should take like a crazy amount of time, but
Right.
like be very intentional about like what you're putting on your page, because I even if you're not posting as frequently, because one thing I've learned so far is that there's no rules. Like every single time I come on social media, like you see all these accounts that tell you they're like, if you post 5 times a day,
Yeah.
you get like if you post like at 2 p.m. in the afternoon,
Right.
then you get a best amount of views. Or if you post this type of content, I don't believe in any of those things, because like when I
Oh,
started my account in 2022, people weren't on TikTok. Long form content wasn't a thing. Like
right.
all the videos on TikTok were like 30 seconds,
If
15
that.
seconds. And
Yeah.
when I was putting out videos that were like 2 minutes, people were like, she's crazy. Like every single time that brands will reach out to me and tell me, oh, we'd like you to promote this artist, and I make a video that's like a minute long, they're like, no, we're not gonna take this video. Like TikTok only works with 30 seconds. But I feel like I trusted myself, and I was like, I could do this. And now you log on to TikTok, the app is telling you post videos more than a
Right.
minute. So
Exactly.
like, so I always say that there's no rules. Like you just have to trust yourself, trust what you can offer. And I feel like when you have that confidence, it's going to translate to an audience. When it comes to social media, there's really no rules. You just have to have something that you are passionate about and you're ready to share. And once the audience can feel that passion, it will translate automatically. That's what I say. So there's no formula. You just have to be ready to put in the work. That's what it is. Like once
Right.
you get started, it doesn't end. That's the only thing I would say. Disclaimer: if you want to be serious about it, like disclaimer, it gets harder.
Right. It doesn't get easier. It gets harder because then you have to do more content and you have to do different
Mm-hmm.
types of content and you have to be
Mm-hmm.
on more than just TikTok, because now you're
Mm-hmm.
building yourself as a brand. Yeah, it definitely.
So
And
yeah.
I think that's the same thing for a music artist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
everybody wants to go viral, everybody wants their music heard, but it takes a certain amount of work to get your
To do
music
it.
noticed. And then once you go viral, the work only
The
increases.
work,
It's only more
exactly.
demand.
Like a lot of artists will like everyone's looking for like this viral moment. And I'm like, if you're not well prepared, you might have that viral moment, but like
Yeah.
nothing will come out of that viral moment, you know? And I
Yeah.
have artists that are always saying, like, I just feel like as an artist in today's space, unfortunately, you have to learn how to create content.
Yeah.
Like, gone are the days where you could just be Mr. or Mrs. Mysterious, you know, and
Not
post your
show your
music and not
face.
show
Like,
up, you know. So
yeah.
it's just a lot of work that comes into creating content. But this is the new form of media.
Right.
This is where the world is right now, and it's either you get on or you get left behind. If you,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just the truth. Yeah.
It's not going away. Any artists that you see doing it right? Oh, capitalizing
Ooh.
on viral moments and good content. Tyler, for sure.
I would say Tyler. She has a good team around them. Another artist that I would really talk about is one thing I would say, like, building community doesn't even always have to be the traditional like make videos. Like, one artist that I discovered online is an artist called D2X. He's like a hip hop artist, and like he's built such a strong community on Twitter. Like, just like tweeting about his thoughts about the music and everything. And because of that, like, that's how I discovered him and
Right.
started paying a lot of attention to him. But it doesn't even matter the way you put yourself out there. You just have to be making sure that you're putting yourself out there. Another artist that even comes to mind right now is a Toronto based artist. Her name is Sad Boy.
Love
Always,
Sad
yeah,
Boy.
I always see her, like, capitalizing on those viral moments and making good content. Like, there's no time I really scroll on social media that I'm not seeing like conversation around her as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, like, that's a good question, because there are just so many that come to mind that I could just open. But one thing that you want to make sure is just to make sure that you're fresh in the audience's mind. And you mentioned Tyler, and that's just perfect, because every single day we see something about Tyler every single day, and because of that, you're just like, you're fresh in the audience's mind. So yeah, that's what I would say. That was such a good question. That was
Yeah.
such a good question. Yeah.
And I think what Tyler's team did really well when she went
Mm,
was world building. Like, it wasn't like,
mm.
you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, we got this viral song and then that's it. It's like, no.
That's what I'm saying. Because
Yeah.
one thing is that a viral song to me is a double-edged sword. Because like, if your song goes like super viral, you have to fight the one-hit wonder allegations.
Oh,
Like, especially if no one knew you before,
right.
you're gonna have to fight that. And I feel like her team came prepared. Like,
Oh man,
once water went viral, it wasn't even up to 2 months. She dropped like a 2 pack of songs that sounded completely different from water. So it's like, I could also do this too. I feel like
right.
she's one of one, like, in this current music space. I don't think we've seen an artist with that, like,
Girl, that
with that
that
amount of
ART
hits.
performance.
Yes, it's just, to me, she just like, we've not seen a young pop star emerging like her in a very long time.
Yeah.
And just every step she's taking, I could just tell that, like, she has a good team. She has good people, like, guiding her, and like, yeah, she's a hard worker, and
Yeah.
you can't deny that, you know. So
Yeah. Because to be able to create content, to be able to have all of these performances, to be able to shoot commercials, like she's in a Gap commercial, like all of that kind of stuff.
hmm
It's, and then even like someone had mentioned like the digital map with
with
like the Tyler
the
Air.
Tyler on her website, I thought that was so, because I would say Drake did something similar a few years ago when he did like the whole Drake's house thing,
Hmm.
and that was so cool. But the way her team did it, making it Tiger Air,
Hmm.
where like you could see the different places on the maps where she was going to visit. Like, she was in South Africa just a couple weeks ago. She was in the UK. Like,
Yeah.
her team has every step has been great. Every single step
Yeah.
has been
And I
amazing.
think that is super authentic to her. They were probably like, "Oh my gosh, girl, you travel so much. We should like start a website showing all the places
Places
that you
that you've been
go."
to. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually now that I'm thinking of another artist, just plugging some people, there's an artist called Soul Child. She's a woman in rap, which I love because rap is very gay kept, but she's also another artist that I see constantly putting herself out there, like
Hmm.
coming out and doing freestyles and putting videos out just to remind you that, oh, I have talent and I'm here to stay. So
Yeah.
yeah, because I talk to a lot of upcoming artists, and it's a little discouraging where a lot of people just have the perspective that, like, I don't want to make any form of content. I'm just like,
Yeah.
you have to. It doesn't have to. You don't have to get in front of your camera and dance,
Right.
like, but you
Exactly.
have to make something that's original to you, and
Yeah.
yeah. I just saw a question. What platform do you think is the best for an artist to build your popularity? I would say, as an artist, do not stick just to one platform.
Right.
Don't do that. Leverage everything possible. Like I said, TikTok, of course. Like,
Biggest
of course. It's
discoverability app. Hello.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
but Instagram is great. Twitter is so underrated. I feel like a lot of people underrate Twitter as a music discovery source because there's a very tight knit community of music lovers on there, especially when it comes to like genres. And
Right.
if you could get your foot in, like, that's beautiful. So I would say, don't, as an upcoming artist, don't stick to just one platform.
Right.
Like, try and leverage every single one. That's what I would say.
Good.
Yeah.
Good advice, because to add on to that, these different platforms do different things. So if you're
Exactly.
one platform,
Exactly.
you're limiting your growth. And I know that it can be exhausting trying to think of what to post on all the different platforms. Repurpose your content. Like you can take your TikTok video, maybe your TikTok video was like 2 or 3 minutes, cut it down to 90 seconds. Now you have an
Bring it
Instagram.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's, yeah, because I have a lot of people, and that's why I started, like, if you check my Instagram page, I wasn't on Instagram. I didn't like this app.
Right.
I just did not like Instagram. I don't know. This app gives me the ick
Oh
in many
no.
ways. But every time I would see people, they'd be like, Elsie, I love your content, but I'm not on TikTok. And like, I would always be like, okay, they actually have a point here. Like, there's a
Right.
population of people that aren't on TikTok
Right.
and might want to see my content. So every single time I upload a video on TikTok, if I'm able to condense it to Instagrams, Instagram is very limited with the 90-second range, but I will post it on Twitter and I will post it on here as well.
Yeah.
Just so people that don't have my TikTok still get to see it. And don't get in your head as an artist about like views, and no, because
Yeah.
everything takes time. Every single thing takes time. If you're judging your content, being like, oh, like, I just posted a video today and it only has 100 views, like, just keep posting. Like, there's nothing that comes easy. And it's not about how many people see it. That's what
Right.
people fail to get it. It's about the right person seeing it. Even if it's just one right person that
Yeah.
sees your content. Because let me tell you, like, the amount of people that I've met and have said, "Oh, Elsie, I love your content." I'm like, how the hell did you see my content? Like, and these are like, very well connected people, and and the video that they mentioned might be something that maybe had at most 2,000 views.
Right.
So it's just like, you never know who sees your content. Like,
Yeah.
you never know. Last year, I had Drake screenshot my TikTok and put it on his Instagram story. It wasn't the best video about him. I was talking about his album. I was
Oh my
yeah,
god.
I was talking about his album, and I said I didn't like his album.
A lot of us did not.
Yes. So he screenshot it and he posted it. But the point I'm getting at is that when Drake put that screenshot on his story, the TikTok had only a couple thousand views. Like,
Right. And he
but
said,
he saw,
oh,
but he
I got
saw
it
it.
right.
Like, he saw the video. So I'm just saying, like, it's not about how many people, like, people are so caught up in, like, oh, how many people saw it. No, it's about the right people
Yeah.
in your
And I
content.
always say it's not about the views, it's about
Yes.
the engagement.
Thank
That's what it's
100%.
really about. And
100%.
the comments,
100%.
the likes, the shit. Because I have what actually my highest performing video to date has about 40,000 views, maybe a little bit more on there, but it only has 400 likes,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to another video that I have that has maybe like 35,000
But
views, but
we
it
have
has
way
like
more.
over 2,000 likes,
And
which shows
comments
me,
as well. Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. And comments and stuff. Yeah. And then the
Mm-hmm.
comments on the other video, like some of them are not the best. They're not like stuff that we talk about,
Yes.
because it was a video about four bets. So I think that it was more of like clickbaity, like,
I see what you mean.
yeah, exactly. So it's like
Yeah.
it got a lot of views, but it wasn't
It
like,
wasn't, yes.
it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do.
Engagement.
So
Yes.
yeah, I
100%.
care more about the engagement than
It's
the views.
it's way more. It's way more. Even like it, that's 100%. Like every time I post a video, my aim is not just get as much views as possible, but how can I get my audience to engage? Whether
Yeah,
that's through a direct call to action, or
right.
sometimes it might be like generating a conversation that might spark debate or conversation. But there are many ways to get engagement. I just saw a comment. What songs or albums have you had on repeat this past month? That's a very good one. I'll first say Tyla's album. I love that album. I've had it on repeats. I feel like there's no miss on there. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. I would also say Schoolboy Q dropped an amazing hip hop project in March. Go check that out if you're a hip hop lover. Cowboy Carter, Beyonce. I don't know what she sprinkled on that album, but like I've not been able to put it down. I've not been able to put down that album. I don't know what she put on there, but it's like it's easily top my rotation. Ariana Grande dropped an amazing album too. Eternal Sunshine been in my rotation. There's this new band that I discovered. It's called The Last Dinner Party. It's an all-girl group. Amazing music as well. If you're into alternative hip hop, there's an artist called Rock Marciano. He also dropped an
This
album.
is a playlist. Are y'all taking like she is putting y'all on right now?
Yeah, like Sir also dropped an album, the R&B artist. It's a beautiful album, very smooth R&B. Another new R&B artist, Ryan Douglas, emerging from Toronto. Beautiful project. There's just a lot of music that's dropped this year. So if you have your ears to the ground, like I feel like 2024, we've started off running music-wise. There's just so much good music dropping. So yeah, just keep your eyes to the scene, your ears to the ground, and there's a lot of music. Not Rob, like rock, ROC. Yeah. Yeah.
Rob Marciano. Jane Doe.
John Doe is releasing her EP tomorrow. Amazing artist. Okay, I will check that out. Thank you for putting that on my radar.
I'm actually going to her release party tonight in LA. So
Oh, amazing. Okay, that's amazing. I will keep that in mind. I also think, I think Billie Eilish has an album upcoming. Taylor Swift, of course, has an album upcoming as well. And I think Metro Boomin is dropping another album today. So yeah.
what?
I mean,
He is?
yeah. We don't trust you. I think part two.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Like I'm
Yeah.
like, we don't trust you just came out. Like I'm like, what? What are
I'm
we?
as confused as you are, but I guess like I guess he wants to
There was
drop
a
some more
follow-up
music,
meeting.
so why not? Really, J. Cole just dropped an album as well. This aside, it's a pretty solid. It's a pretty solid body of work. So yeah, there's been yeah, we still don't trust you. Yeah, that was the name.
We still
That was the name of the project. So yeah, I hope there's another surprise on there. We never know. So
yeah,
we're all tuning in.
locked and loaded. Hella new music. So it's all
So much
different
new
genres.
music.
For
Yeah,
me, I
Glorilla dropped
had
another
like
one. Yeah.
Kyla. I've had Cowboy Carter,
Oh,
and then I've had The Age of Pleasure for some reason.
Janelle Monáe. I've been
Yeah,
going back to that album a
I
lot.
can't.
I thought it was only me. Like, I've
No,
been going
I
back
think
to
it's
that
because
album
summer is
a
coming up.
lot.
It makes
It's
me
a
feel
summer
like I'm
album.
vacationing in Europe. Like I'm like, you know
It's
what I'm saying? Like,
definitely a summer album. I
it
love that album. I've
is.
been revisiting it a lot
Yeah,
lately. I thought it was just
it's
me.
so
Yeah.
great. Like the rush, and even like I used Phenomenal this week to like promote the live stream. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very fresh
Yes,
in my mind.
it's such a good, yeah. I just feel like there's just so much new. I feel every artist, I don't know if there's maybe a deadline somewhere, but everyone wants to drop music this year
Yeah,
for some reason. So
yeah.
I don't know, like, what if we get a surprise that Rihanna decides to come back this year? I would not be
I
shocked. So,
From like
yeah.
my music industry perspective, this is my theory. So I think everyone wants to tour again because all of the COVID restrictions have been lifted.
Been lifted.
So we're 100% good to go with the touring. We don't have to worry about testing or any of the COVID restrictions that we had to
Restrictions
abide by.
because they were really tight. Like
Yeah.
last year, it just started to ease up, and like last year,
Barely.
I went for so many, I went for so many concerts last year.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Right. And if they had restrictions, it was like wear your mask. Like, like
But honestly, like from the audience's perspective, like where's the money going to come from to go on all these like
we are
to,
in
to
right. It's
attend all these
inflation. It's a
concerts and
recession.
tours? Like
I was
it's crazy.
I was so sad I could not go to Renaissance last year. That
Oh,
was like the
I
first
went.
Beyonce concert I've been to in years. And I was
Yeah.
like, why? Why I wasn't
Honestly, like wow, I don't regret going.
ready.
Like
You
I wow, I wish I like she was in Toronto for 2 nights. I only went for 1 night and I regret not just going for the 2 nights.
you're
It
like,
was
I could have went
I should
back.
have just gone for both. I was just like I was trying to like be money conscious and I was like, okay, I only go for 1 night, but wow, it's easily the best concert I've been to in terms of just like production.
Right.
You could tell like there was money
Right.
that went into just setting everything
It
up. Money
was
and time. It was
sets. I was
crazy.
planning it for like 5 years. Yeah. It was yeah. Biggest regret of my life. But hopefully that will be.
Hopefully she goes on tour next year or so, and then you can catch her again.
Maybe when
For
all the
probably.
acts have been revealed, we'll get another tour or something. Now
Hopefully,
that yeah.
hopefully.
Okay, but we're here to talk about artist branding, and I feel like we've just been kikiing because vibes. I'm here for it, but love it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
But I like what is artist branding to you? Like, what would you consider visual branding to be?
I would just say one thing I would say is that it's so important for an artist that is coming up to have a very recognizable look. Like something that when people see you, they could just say it's that artist, you know?
Uh,
Let's think of Nikki and like the wigs when she was first coming up, like the very
right.
colorful outfits and the wigs and everything. Let's also think of Sexy Red, like always having like the red hair. Ice Spice having like the ginger fro,
Right.
and you could also talk of Tyla, like always wearing like the crop tops, sometimes has her hair braided. I just feel like for an upcoming artist, you have to, at least for the moment you're starting, have a very recognizable look. For a while, even Billie Eilish had that hairstyle that she always used to do. Beyonce has the blonde hair as a trademark. And
Right.
you'd see like whenever they would change eras, then maybe you could change along with that. The Weeknd had, the locks.
Mm-hmm.
Or so I would
Oh,
say,
I missed
yeah,
I missed when Weeknd had his locks.
yes.
They were like
They were,
Basquiat locks.
yeah, they were freeform
Yeah.
and everywhere.
Ugh,
But yeah, I would say just like very instantly recognizable is just a thing that I feel like artists should have,
yeah.
so that your audience can recognize you like that. And
Right.
then when you've nailed that, and everyone, like if you see a ginger fro, you're like Ice
Right.
Spice, like that automatically just registers
That
in
could
your
be a
head.
logo for her.
Yeah.
It could just be the gender.
Yeah. So I would say that branding, like visual branding, is one thing, and then also there's like someone said a Tizo touchdown with the nails in his head. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just say, just be very recognizable. Like as a new artist, create a signature look that when people see that, you're like, yes, that is that person.
Right.
Like, no
And
debate
she
about that.
just did hair because that was just off the top of her head, but it can be a multitude of things.
Yes.
Like with Olivia Rodrigo, like her
Like with the
color theory,
purple.
like with the purple.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
It's little things
Yes.
that are like
Those little things.
recognizable
Yeah,
that
it subconsciously just
to an audience.
registers. Whenever you see purple now, it's like, oh, is that Olivia Rodrigo? You know, so because it just registers. It's like Nicki Minaj with pink.
Yeah.
Like once you see pink, it's like that's Nicki.
Right.
You know, so yeah. Visual branding is such a huge part of
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. It plays such a huge role in establishing like your brand identity and, like you said, providing like easy recognition. Like
Yeah.
sometimes before you know who an artist is, you could be like that girl with the curly wig, that girl,
Yes.
you know, da 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 hair
Mm-hmm.
or things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like there's a certain element of visual branding that should go into content creation as well.
Okay.
I don't know if everyone does it that well though. Like I feel like content creation is an afterthought for a lot of music artists, and it should
Exactly.
be like in the forefront of their
Exactly.
mind.
Yes. I always tell people that when you're making like an album or like an EP, be thinking of the marketing while you're making. A lot of people just make the music and afterwards you're like, okay, how do we market this? No, like it should be part of the process. While you are making the music, think of the marketing while you're making the music. So everything just like comes together, you know, at the end, once the music is ready, your strategy is ready as well.
Yeah.
If not, like you could waste an entire like you could waste, you know, that moment of taking advantage of momentum.
Right.
If you don't plan accordingly, you could just waste that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because with visual branding, it includes your logo, it can include your fonts, it can include like colors and things like we were saying. So if you are like going hard with this visual identity that, you know, I feel like Sad Boy is a good example.
I wanted to say Sad Boy, like the way she does her makeup and everything.
The
I
grills,
saw her perform
the
live
braid.
in Toronto and like she stood out to me. I'd never heard of her ever because I went to see Black and Jordan Ward open.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who she was. I was just like, okay, but like she stood out to me instantly.
Yeah.
And it was just straight up. Even Jordan Ward, like, you know, Forward and that blue that just when you look at the album cover, it just catches you. You know, just little things that could just like straight away. It doesn't even have to be anything complicated. Like
the
easier
the better.
That's eye catching.
Yeah.
Actually, the easier the better.
Yeah.
Because
you can be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like like I manage an artist. Her name is Ayana. She's actually
I know Ayana.
Video. Yeah, she just filmed a video with Sad Boy last weekend. So check out.
She always has like the twist, the Bantu knots on her head.
Oh, different Ayana.
Oh, that's a different Ayana. Okay.
Yeah, she has two A's, but I know the Ayana. Okay. But with her, like with Ayana, she sings like ethereal R&B, so she sounds like an angel, and so we just, like stood 10 toes on that. Like she's releasing content right now. Like if you saw me get distracted, it's because she was asking me about a caption for something that she's posting. But it's her with like angel wings on, and this week we're doing like a performance content with her wearing the angel wings, where it's like just subtle elements. The emojis that she uses are the white heart, and you know, the bow and arrow when she,
and it could just be those emojis that whenever people see those emojis, they're like, yeah, it's our artist, you know.
It's that
just little things are just so important, and I feel like a lot of people just underrate that.
Or they don't think about it,
and it's just like an afterthought, and then that time it's already too late.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would say. So yeah, it's something you definitely have to think about. I feel like even if you're coming up with that strategy along with the music, it's even better. Because
Yeah.
like it just flow naturally and then it could just translate like that to the audience. Because I feel like an audience can tell when something is just like an afterthought.
Yes. If it's not genuine, it's not
Yeah.
organic, that you just threw on there. Yeah. It wasn't a part of it from the beginning. You know, it
Beginning.
doesn't feel thought.
Mhm. Yeah.
So what are some artists who like had poor branding before and then when they switched their branding, like
Mm.
stepped it up for you? Like I can get us started because I know
Yes,
I put
yes,
you on the spot.
please. Because
But
I'm just thinking right now, I'm like,
right. I mean, I think the first person who comes to mind for me is Billie Eilish. Like I did not know her before the green roots with the black hair.
Black
Did you?
hair. I
Oh,
did. I did. I used to be a very huge like YouTube person and I stumbled across like a video of Ocean Eyes. I think that was like 2016 or 17.
oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
before
but I
me.
think it was her voice to me, and that's something I wanted to get at. We'll get at that later, but like I was just like, sometimes that branding could come through just having a very recognizable like voice. If people can recognize that that is you within 10 seconds, like you've done a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That yeah, that's another thing. I didn't even mention that when it comes to
yeah,
because we're talking about visual
yeah,
branding. I think that's a part of your branding as well
yeah.
is like your sonic
How you sound.
yeah, like I'm like recognizability. Like I don't think that's a word, but
I mean, we'll go with it.
right.
I mean,
Like with Billie, she has very soft,
it's a
minimalistic
very
vocals.
recognizable tone. Like you
Mhm.
know it's Billie Eilish, like instantly. I feel
Yeah.
like another artist like that was Amare.
Mm.
Um, oh, when I heard her voice for the first time, I was like, who
Squeaky.
is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you were saying about like the an artist that didn't have great branding.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So before, when you first recognized Billie, you liked how she sounded,
It was the
but then she
sound. It was
took
the sound.
off when she changed
Yes.
her image, right?
Yeah, she's been changing it like with every era.
Right. With every era, she could have
I
been
would say,
blonde after, and now
yeah.
she's back to black. Who knows what we getting from this next album? Excited
Yes.
for it. Or
Hmm.
her? Do you remember her before she had like glasses and stuff on?
Honestly,
Like,
I did not know her was like a real person for years. I just thought like I'm gonna be honest. Like I remember the album cover of like it was like a shadow of like a woman standing.
yes, it
I
was
thought
like a with big hair and glasses.
I didn't know it was a real person.
Right.
Like I think another thing before the weekend was like the weekend. I thought it was a band. Like I knew the weekend, but like I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know what he sounded like speaking. Like I
Right.
knew nothing. So I thought it was a band.
Yeah.
but
That's a good one.
yeah,
Um, let's see.
I'm thinking,
What about Kendrick Lamar? Like Kendrick Lamar, when he started off, I don't remember his visual identity. Like I was,
he
of
didn't
course,
have
pulled.
a very strong visual identity. But I would also say when it comes to hip hop, it's a little different. I don't know because Kendrick just started out as just like if you go back and look at the visual identity and branding section 80, even for Good Kid, Mad City, there was no like visual identity. It was just like a regular guy who can rap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like I think there was a turn. There was a turn like from To Pimp a Butterfly that I
But
think with his hair and everything, you could just see that there was just a bit more intention
yeah.
with branding. I would also I would also say honestly, I would use Drake as an example. Um
Oh,
I feel
went from like
he's changed so much.
bouncing around in Trey Song videos. That's what I like, official girl. Like Trey Songz was more famous than Drake when I first found Drake, okay? And then it was like the
Mhm.
fade with the really long hair, the shit in the
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then he had like curly hair era
Hmm.
Drake,
Yeah.
and then
We're in the
Drake has
curly hair
had so
era.
many
Like
eras.
he just had those like salon clips in his hair pretending to be salon. I no,
Drake
and
has had so many
you know
eras.
what is wrong with the music industry right now is that they keep investing in millennial artists that they know they're going to get a guaranteed return from, instead of investing in Gen Z
The
artists and
artists.
making them blow up
Because I
and
feel
have
like
their
Drake
moment.
is Drake.
Yeah. Yeah.
The music is gonna blow up either way.
Right.
Like
We
either
gonna find
way.
you, even if we don't like the
He
album. Like
doesn't have to lift a
yeah,
finger.
yeah.
Like
I can't tell you. I don't know the title of any songs off of Drake's last album. I don't even know. I don't even know what it was, but I know that song with SZA and Sexy Red. Shake
yeah.
that ass, Drake. That ass. You know what
Rich
I'm
baby
saying?
daddy.
Like that was off of his album, so he did something right.
Yeah, but one thing I would say is that I don't know if you've been listening to Amare for a while before, but there's been a very strong shift in her visual identity. I feel like for the first time, she's really nailed the aesthetic that she wants to convey. Like at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of Amare's career, like there was really nothing going on that really branded her visually that I could say I could describe her to someone that
Right.
didn't know her.
Yeah.
But I feel like now I could describe like Amare to someone because she's kind of going for that Y2K, vibe with her
Mm-hmm.
aesthetic and with her look. And yeah, I would say she's one artist that I would say I wasn't really, it wasn't clicking
Mm-hmm.
until it clicked. I'm thinking, are there any other artists that I would say are
And yeah, no, I mean, I feel like this is a really great
yeah.
conversation
I'd
with
have to even think more about it. Like I'm thinking I'm literally scrolling on my TikTok page and I'm like,
you're like, who have I
which
talked
artists,
about?
like who have I actually talked about that maybe has changed their visual identity to match? But yeah, I would just visual identity is so important because you think of like Michael Jackson, like every era of Michael Jackson, he had like a different look.
Yeah.
Like Thriller, it was like those jackets. Bad, it was like the black look with the
Yeah.
chains and everything.
With
And
the big
Rihanna had, yeah,
curl.
exactly, with the curls. Rihanna had that. Like she had pixie cut Rihanna. We had red hair Rihanna.
Ooh, yeah.
We've gone so many eras of that, but
Yeah.
it's so important.
Yeah.
Like to just have that branding and that era. Just I feel like it's so fun too for the fans. Like
Yeah. And I
so
think I
fun.
want to encourage music artists, like, don't wait until you're big and established to start doing these things. Do these things now. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe wait until you're big to have like super conceptual albums. That's what I would say. Like, wait on
Honestly,
that.
because back then you'd have like the budget to execute everything the way you want to execute it. Yeah,
It's
I agree.
very
I
much
agree
that.
fully.
But like the
Yeah.
visual, that starts where you are. You know what I'm saying? And even when you're recording content, if you want to be known as a music artist and you're recording content like straight face, no filter, no glam, no anything, um you don't look like a music artist. You just look, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to
Yes, you
show
wanna
up,
you
live
even
lane.
if it's fake it until you make it. Like sometimes I believe in that. Like some people don't believe in that, but I'm like, treat yourself as if you're already a big well-known artist.
Yeah,
And
because if you
yeah,
always are or win, you're not thinking about what you can do right now. You're not going to get to
mhm.
it.
If you're waiting for everything to be like perfect and have the perfect budget and have that time might never arrive.
Right. And
That's
when
just
it does, like,
the
you
sad
know,
part. Yeah.
who knows? Like for me, so I didn't continue on my story, but after Taylor Gang, I went to Maverick and I was the project manager for their urban division. So that's how I worked with Doja Cat. And
Mm.
I feel like she is a very, very great representation of amazing branding.
Yeah.
And with the visual identity and the branding being who she is. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
gotten
Like,
better though. Like initially when she started,
oh,
like
the wigs
she used to
were,
have this wig, the
oh
wigs.
my
Mm-mm.
God. And Amala, I hope you never see this. I'm not trying to talk bad about you. It's a thing. It was definitely it was definitely a thing. The wig games, yeah.
Yeah.
But that had to do with budget. Had
Exactly. The budget
because
has gotten better
her,
and the looks have gotten a
yes,
million
like
times better.
like Hot Pink, I think, is when we finally started getting better wigs. And
Mm-hmm.
that was when she still was like funny, goofy, like all of the visuals for Hot Pink, I'm so proud of.
They were
She made the
so fun. They were
yeah.
so fun.
And
Every
those were
single.
her ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like we would try to source treatments and we would reach out to people and it would always be mid and she would be like, I'm just going to do something myself. And
Wow.
that's what we would end up going with
Wow.
until Say So.
Mm-hmm.
We did a single bid with Hannah Lux Davis and that was of course amazing. Like Hannah Lux had
Mm-hmm.
done like the Thank You Next video, like so many
Wow.
great videos. We knew it was going to be good then.
Good.
I think like going from Hot Pink to Planet Her, like Planet Her was like elevated Hot Pink.
It
That
was
was like Hot Pink with money.
much elevated with a budget. Yes.
Yes. It was the fashion and everything. So basically like what she wanted to do, she was now able to do. And then with Scarlett, completely different. You know what I'm
It just
saying?
switched it up completely.
Yes.
I
And
feel like
and
that
that's
was
the thing.
yeah.
Everybody be mad at her about the demon stuff and stuff, but it's like you guys have to understand if it wasn't demons, it would have been elves. It would have been, it would have been something futuristic and out
That's
there.
because
That's what she wanted for this.
that's honestly how Doja has always been. You know, I like people. I know the internet really discovered Doja when she did that like I'm a cow moo. But I've discovered Doja on YouTube like
Yeah.
2014. I saw like the video she had for So High.
Okay.
And it was like this, it was so futuristic. She had like body spray paint, like she looked like an alien.
Yeah.
So like anything I see Doja do is nothing new to me.
Yeah.
Because to me that's how she's
That's the
always been.
that's also what people don't understand is people are like,
Yes.
why would you do something like that? Because she has an established core fan base.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
you guys might have just caught on, but anyone who has been here knows who she is.
She's been like
They
that
know that
since.
she's not being serious. They know, you know what I'm saying? Like they understand. And so no one is like, demons, oh my God. They're like, oh, wow, okay, that's what she's on this week or this album, like.
Yes. Yeah, but I think it's just fun. It gets people talking and yeah, like just generating that conversation is not easy. Like to hold the internet's attention
Oh my
is
gosh.
not easy.
Yeah, I'm just a fan of goldfish. Like
It's not easy. So yeah, I just feel like yeah, branding is such a huge part of like just putting out music. I was just thinking of like Jungle, like for example, back on 74, the song that they put out that just went super viral, it was because of the dancers, the whole dancers that and I think to me that was so smart, because
yeah.
like
If you don't
they
dance,
have,
get some
yeah,
dancers in here to do
yeah,
it.
they're like the music is good, but we feel like if we pair with dancers, it will translate, and that worked. Because when you're scrolling on Instagram or you're scrolling on TikTok, and you see those dancers, like you would stop and like you would also listen to the music, and then
Right.
the dance became a trend, and then the song became a trend. The album is the biggest album they've ever had. They performed at the Brits, like there's just a lot of like things that come into it. So even if you don't think you could visually do it yourself,
Yeah.
but just thinking of that as you're making the project, thinking of what ways can I market this, what ways can I add the visuals into this, it's key.
Yes. It's so
It's key.
because you guys, when it's time to roll your project out, you are going to be overwhelmed with the rollout of it all. You're not going to want to think of content. You're not
Content.
going to
So
think of
yes,
yeah,
so
like
think
you
of
should
all that before.
right. Exactly. Have it done. And like you were saying earlier in here, Elise, like you even Elsie, my bad. Not that's your whole name, and I called you the wrong one. I think it's because I kept saying like, don't call her Elise, don't call her Elise, and so that's when it came top of mind. But when you were saying like you batch record your content, music artists should do that too. If you're having a shoot, don't like instead of having a music video shoot a bunch of content.
And
Yeah,
just have it ready, like that's what I always say, just plan along for that, because there's just too many cases of people already like having projects out, music out, and you're like, I don't know how to market it. I'm like, this should not have been an
It
afterthought. Like, this is something that you
it's
should have
been
been
the first.
thinking about from the moment you sat in that studio recording,
Yeah,
you know, your music. Like, you should have been thinking, like, what are we gonna do? Like, even if you wanted to get like someone to like an animator to make like, you know, cartoon visuals, it's something like
right.
to post on socials. Like, there's just so many directions
Yeah,
that you could take.
exactly.
So many
As you're in the studio, you should be thinking like, and if you're an emerging artist, just go song by song. Think of your rollouts one song at a time. Don't think of a
directions.
whole full project. I
It could
know,
be overwhelming.
yeah,
Yeah.
it can be so overwhelming. And sometimes artists record songs because they want it to go on this project, on that project. But guess what? The project never gets finished and the project gets released. So you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? It would be much
Mm-hmm.
better. Like if you are in a certain vibe, have that be your branding while you're releasing these 3 or 4 songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't
It's
have
just
to be
like,
the whole album.
yeah, it's just like Tyler with Water. Like, just that dance
Yeah.
it was a good song already. But like with the dance and like, you know, pouring like the bottles of water, it was so
Yeah.
eye-catching that like once that trend caught on, the song caught on automatically.
What
So it could just be such a tiny thing.
with bottles of water? I saw the booty trend when
No, yeah,
everybody
but
was
like dancing at the same time, like she'd like pour like the bottles of water like down her back while she was dancing. The same thing, like the booty
yes.
trend, but like still pouring the water. So that was the first time I saw it, and I was like, this is gonna catch on. Like the
Oh,
moment she posted that.
and also going back to Tyla, she posted content using her song Water, I don't know how many times. Like if
Like,
you're not prepared to promote your content like 90 times for the same song,
then you're
how
not
you
ready.
listen? Right, exactly.
Like, that's the thing. I just come across too many artists that I don't know, for some reason don't want to promote their work. Like, just like I posted it once, like that's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, I know this snippet, Camila Cabello, you know, the I love it. Okay, people say it drove them crazy, the song. But like she posted it so many times, and I wouldn't even call myself like a huge fan, but she
Right.
posted that snippet so many times that I was like, okay, like when is this song coming out? Like
All
she's posted
right.
it so
I'll
like
try it out. Like
fine.
fun. It's grown up.
You know, so and that's an artist that already has an established fan
Yeah.
base. So like what's your excuse?
Right.
You know, as an upcoming artist, like what's your
That's
excuse to post your work?
a huge multi-platinum pop group. So if
Mm-hmm.
she's promoting her song a million times,
Why
why can't you?
aren't you
Why are you above
promoting?
it?
Yeah.
No,
I
yeah,
agree.
absolutely. That's why I started consulting, because I just realized
Mhm.
that I feel like the music industry wants so much from music artists right now. Like they want them to have a cult fan base. They want them to know their branding, their marketing, all this. And I don't understand. It feels like that's gatekeeping in a
Would
sense.
you
Like we're
would you
not going to invest.
say would you say that before, I know the music industry used to take people, artists, and develop them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but now I feel like the labels want a finished product. Like
Mm-hmm.
they want an artist that already has a fan base, already has everything down, and
Yeah.
I guess kind of makes it harder for
Yeah.
artists.
It makes it so hard for artists to get it out the mud. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, there are some labels that do artist development. RCA is a huge label that does artist development. I have, I worked with them on Doja, but I also worked with them on Van Jess. Van Jess
Oh,
as big, and I worked with them on Van Jess for the Homegrown and for Homegrown
they're
Deluxe.
so great. I don't know why they broke up,
Yeah.
but they were
It was personal stuff. It was really like they have like a mother who depends on them, like a disabled mother who depends on them, and then their father, who was her main the person who mainly looked after their mother, passed away during COVID. So that, just the and
yeah,
so that was life.
it's
Life,
life. That's life.
that's life. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying? So I see so many people talk about them breaking up and stuff, and I'm just like, you guys, like if you guys only knew, like, like it's not
It's
because they
tough.
don't want to make
Yeah,
music, and even
it's tough.
Jess continued to make music on her own, like that project with K Tronada.
Oh, it was a beautiful
that
project.
was because Jess was like, I can't stop making music. I just
Music.
love
I have to
music too
continue.
much that I
Yeah.
have
Thank
to.
you.
So, but guys, I want to open this time up for questions. My son gets home from daycare in a little bit, so it's gonna be loud and noisy. So I'm like, let's take the questions. If you guys,
Yes. If there's any questions, like
yeah.
we'll take a few of them.
Yeah. And this
Yes.
can be about, about content creation. This can be
Music,
your visual brand.
branding.
Yes, all of that good stuff. Let us know. Hit the little
Great.
question.
This is great content, Elsie. Nice. Honestly, I should try going live on Instagram. It's just I always go live on TikTok, but like I feel like on
TikTok is a
Instagram,
party on live.
I just think on Instagram your followers are more likely to see that you're going
Yeah.
live. I just feel like on TikTok, TikTok is such a weird app.
Yeah. It's pushed out to, and see, okay, so
It
going
is such a
back, like
weird.
the apps doing different things. TikTok is the biggest discoverability app.
Yeah.
So if you want to be discovered by new people,
Yes.
that's where you make your content. That's where you run ads and stuff is on TikTok. I would say Instagram and Facebook are community apps because who follows you here? People who know
People who
you.
know.
So that's, yeah. So I've
Different.
noticed the content that does better for me is content talking about like my experience in the music industry, because people care about that on
Yeah,
Instagram.
you have a lot of experience too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
gotta get better at storytelling though, because I have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I just don't know how to talk about it in a way that captivates audiences. So
so I
work like
did see
that.
a comment. Someone said that there were queer artists in a religious third world country. It's hard to make it out. One thing I would say, just commenting on that, is just that the music scape now is global.
Mm-hmm.
Like on TikTok, your audience is not the people that live in your city. Your
Yeah.
your audience is not the people that are next door to you.
Right.
I feel like when I started creating content, the first thing I got in my head, I'm like, my friends and my family are my target audience. Like that's just the truth. Like it's cool if they support me. It's cool if they don't. Like so, I would say as an artist, just imbibe that mentality. We're lucky that we have platforms like. Is there a question box?
Yeah, there's
I
a
don't.
question
Where's that?
at the bottom.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see it now.
So
I
I
have
put that
to see
question
it.
up there for when you're ready. But I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, just when you create content, just have that in mind. Like, your family, your friends, they're probably not your target audience, and we're lucky that we have platforms like TikTok and Instagram where it's a global world that you're competing for. So, like, I would just say, just make your content and just put it out there consistently. Okay, I see the question. It says, I have a 6-song project. Should I drop them as singles or should I drop an actual project and promote it throughout the year? What do you think about that? I want to ask your opinion before I say mine.
I would say that you should drop it as singles. If you are trying to build an audience right now and build a fan base, dropping a project, they're not going to listen to it all. You're dropping it to no one. But if you drop your singles and you focus on the rollout for each single and roll out each single like it's a mini EP and put your time and attention into each single, that's how you build a fan base who's going to be anticipating a project. And because what you want is them asking, when's the EP? When we get new music?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
like
saying?
what I would say is out of those 6, pick what you think personally are the 3 strongest.
Yeah.
And drop them as singles, and like she just said, like roll them out like it's a whole EP, like have visuals, have everything like good to go. And then when you've garnered that attention and the audience is like, oh, we're asking, we need like an EP, so you could now maybe add the other 3, and maybe at a later date drop it like as a project. But I would say go the singles route. Like don't just drop a project just at once. You want people to know who you are. You want people already talking about you before you just go out and just drop a project.
Yeah.
You know?
Very much that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have
Yeah.
another question. So it says, what's the best way to reach creators such as yourselves to get feedback on songs or to connect regarding marketing and promotion opportunities?
What would you say?
Get on Twitter. That's where we talk. The only thing that we do on Twitter is talk. We are,
That's what I keep
we're not.
saying. One thing I'm gonna say is that I try to keep an eye on my emails, but I'm going to be honest, my emails are flooded. Like if you go through emails, like there's honestly like a less than 50% chance like I would get to it. Like it's so tough like getting through emails, because one thing about emails is just like, especially if it's someone that's getting like a very high volume of emails, they're just skimming through to see what might be important, and if you don't even have a catchy like subject, like out of the way.
Yeah.
But when I'm tweeting and someone comes under my tweet and they're like, Elsie, please, like, just please check out this project, they drop like a video right there or like a snippet or just drop a link
To the song.
I'm more likely to just click and listen right away. So honestly, get on Twitter. That's the best. That's the best advice.
Twitter, hire us, okay?
but since you specifically said, I'll just say this is very rare. But just send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll personally listen. You can send me it, but that doesn't work normally because I hardly like when there's too many DM requests, and some people don't get straight to the point. Like some people don't get straight to the point. They just be like, "Hey, Elsie, what next?" I mean, like you tell me everything like this
with a hi.
Like, why would you just say, hey? Like, I don't know you. You don't know me. So let's get to the point, you know. But yeah, you can send me a DM.
Yeah.
Oh, you emailed me months back. I'm so sorry. Like, I probably did not. I always apologize.
I've been emailing people outlines, and then I have to hit them on socials like, hey,
I emailed you. I'm like, if you have me on socials, like, and we're mutuals, just send me a DM. I'm gonna see that way faster. But yeah, that's so nice. That's a good question.
But that's it. If anybody else has any more questions, that's all that I have for my girl, Elsie.
Oh, someone just said, I want to say how much your work means to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, so thank you for having me. This was such a fun conversation.
And I don't know what we can do in the future, but if I get my
open,
real show, anything, I'm definitely just open, no. Yeah. We're friends now, okay? So, period.
All right. Well,
thank you guys. I'm gonna
thank you guys for being here.
It has been so much fun. We appreciate y'all rocking with us.
All right.
And yeah, check me out. I do this every week, highlighting different women in the music industry. So if you liked this,
make sure to tune in.
Yeah. To the showbiz mindset. Yeah. Alrighty. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye.